The following podcast has been brought to you by Audible.com. Sign up now using the URL audibletrial.com/TTV to get a free audiobook of your choosing. We recommend Brick by Brick, How LEGO Rewrote the Rules of Innovation and Conquered the Global Toy Industry. You may recognize this as one of the sources we use in our show, Bionicle Autopsy. Remember, that's audibletrial.com/TTV. Enjoy the show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sync! Hey everybody, I'm Eljay.
I'm Meso.
I'm Barteran.
I'm Kahi.
I'm Venom.
And this is TTV Talks.
Woo. Enthusiasm. I like that attitude.
I like that attitude as well. But man, you could really give Vin a run for his money for slowest countdown ever.
I give Ven a run for his money. Meso is here, you know.
Hey man, I can go fast.
5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, Meso's countdowns are usually pretty fast, LJ. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, well, you know what isn't fast about Meso? Getting to the name list.
Listen, I'm perfectly fine with that.
You know what? You know whose countdown my favorite countdown is?
I'm perfectly
The countdown on Halo Reach?
Yeah, Halo Reach's countdown.
Oh, it's so funny.
Backwards compatibility on the
comedic
12.
geniuses.
Man, I'm so funny. Oh my gosh.
I don't get it.
Well, you see, Ben,
What's Halo Reach?
Halo is
Actually,
FPS.
that reminds me, Halo Reach is
It's
coming
when you
out
reach
on
into
the
the
12th.
heavens.
No one cares about
Yeah,
Halo
backwards
Reach.
compatibility.
And no one
coming
will
back.
care. Everyone's gonna be busy playing Halo 5.
Oh, that segue though.
It's
That
not
was
a segue.
that was
you
a
pointed
good
out.
Truly,
Now
Ben,
it's still a segue.
you are a master of your craft.
That was the best Ben segue I think we've ever had in the history of the show. Everyone's like,
Oh, please, you're too kind.
Halo
Oh,
5.
you're tickling me.
I didn't realize you were so ticklish, Ben.
This got weird. This got weird.
I think I need an adult to tell me more about this conversation. I don't think I'm old enough to be in this conversation right now.
So last week, we talked about the multiplayer. But there's more to this game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We forgot to talk about the story and how bad it is.
This isn't Black Ops 3 on last gen. It actually has a campaign. Unlike Black Ops 3 on last gen, which doesn't.
I think someone's a little salty about that.
No, I'm sure there are plenty of people salty about that. But it's pretty
That
funny.
sounded
to
like
think
you were
about
pretty
that
salty about that.
It's funny to me that we're at that point in time where games can just come out without campaigns. Like, that's such a superfluous thing now.
I mean,
that's been a thing for a while.
yeah, that happens.
Titanfall.
Especially with
Titanfall.
Call of Duty.
Wait, what? This is like the first time that's happened for COD. Other games do this all the time. Battlefront is doing this.
Dota.
No, I mean, like,
Dota.
where campaigns have become superfluous.
Dota completely ditched their complex multi-layered story and just released a multiplayer component. How
You gotta defend the ancients.
A lot of games come out nowadays.
Yeah,
that
we
do
will never
not
know
have
what the story of
single
Defend the Ancients are. What are the Ancients?
I don't know.
player. What is Defend?
What I was getting at is, like, the Call of Duty games, sure, they may have come with campaigns up until this point, but those campaigns are still superfluous because no one bought them for the campaigns. No one cared about the campaigns ever since
Then
Modern Warfare
maybe I
3?
bought them for
With
the
the
campaign.
exception of
I will
Modern
be quite
Warfare,
frank.
campaigns in COD are pretty superfluous.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
no one
Modern
bought
Warfare?
Ghosts
Black
for the
Ops.
campaign. No one
The Black
no one
Ops
cared
campaign
about
was
that
pretty good.
campaign. No one cared
Even
about
if the
Black
campaigns
Ops
are
2
good.
campaign.
Well, I guess that's not necessarily true. Advanced Warfare kind of broke that trend because they were like, Kevin Spacey.
That
That
is
was
true.
their
They did have
selling
Kevin
point.
Spacey. That was a huge actor in a
Yeah,
you know,
and then there was
role.
what was it? I think it was Modern Warfare, the one where you like shoot up the airport. That was like a big thing.
Yep,
But
yep,
you,
that was the
you
Modern
also
Warfare
have to
series.
admit, though, that there's a difference between enjoying the campaign and buying it for the campaign. And with Call of Duty, I think a lot of people enjoy the campaign. I don't know if people would necessarily buy Call of Duty if it was only the campaign.
I think they don't buy it for the campaign anymore because back in the day, campaign was a really big thing for COD because it did have very entertaining campaign sessions.
It was like a
I
historical
bought it-
game.
I bought it in the
right,
past
right.
Yeah.
for the campaign, the Modern Warfare series, and Black Ops because it was historical.
now none of it
Right.
matters
Nowadays,
because
it's,
it's
like,
all
watered
just
down a
eye
lot.
candy.
Yeah, it's
now
like
none
an
of it
action
matters
movie.
because it's
For guys.
trying so hard to be Halo, but it just can't be.
Yeah, a good way to tie it back, because like this isn't about campaign, guys. This is
about campaign.
Well,
This
with
is about
Halo,
Halo 5
there's been a
campaign.
long-running thing.
The one that
where,
actually
like,
does kind of matter.
different people here have placed different priorities on campaign, because I know you've mentioned in the past, Var, that that's the main reason why you buy Halos for the campaign.
That's the reason why I
Whereas
buy
for, like,
every game.
For like
That's
me
the
and
reason I
Eljay,
got
it's
into
like
Halo.
if there wasn't the extensive multiplayer component, we probably wouldn't buy games. Because multiplayer gaming is important to me.
I grew up with PlayStation 1 and then the PlayStation 2, and honestly, I never realized that PlayStation 2 even had an online component until well into the PlayStation 3's life cycle. So the majority of video games I played have always been offline single-player video games.
Same here. I never
And I
really
grew
got
up
into
with that.
online multiplayer until way later because I grew up with single player games mostly on Nintendo, and my big thing was the GameCube way back then, and obviously that didn't have a multiplayer component or online multiplayer component, so I didn't
get
play
into
that
online
heavily.
play
Then
until Halo.
eventually,
Honestly,
I got a modded Xbox. The modded Xbox came with Halo. I couldn't play the modded Xbox online, so I just played Halo's story, and that's how that happened.
Yeah,
Playing with you
I'm
guys on the chat room
with you.
with the online Halo. That was where I got started.
Yeah, that's where I was like. I actually never played an online multiplayer game, despite growing up with video games, until really Halo Reach was the very first actual online game that I played online competitively without having to be in a party with everybody. But before that, the first game I really played was Halo 1 CE on the computer.
Right.
Wow.
But that was well after that game was out of date, though. Like that was like before Halo Reach.
Yeah,
came
that
out,
was like
a year
around the time
before.
that we met. Nice to know I'm a part of some
Yeah.
Vardaran gaming history.
Well, you know, that's
so
like, I mean, for me too, the idea
That's
is like,
true, but that doesn't matter as much.
it was Halo CE. I remember I played that with you guys, and also Minecraft. Minecraft was one of the first online games that I
It
played.
did come into prominence right around that
That was
same time
something
frame.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
Minecraft was also one of the first multiplayer games I played.
and I completely agree with you from the sense that like I played a lot more like multiplayer games because I had siblings, and with siblings, when you have one game console and a bunch of siblings, you end up buying games that have multiplayer in them, and you can play locally, you know, like split screen.
Yeah.
So I had my fair share of single player and multiplayer games, but I rent games. That's how I get most of my game experience. The only game I haven't rented this entire year, honestly, has been Halo 5.
Yeah.
And the only reason I got that is because I knew I'd be playing it, you know, competitively because of the multiplayer.
Yeah, with us.
Right.
Listening to you guys talk about all this, I'm a weirdo compared to every single one of you.
Yeah.
Newsflash.
You played Call of
The
Duty
first-
on the Wii. You're automatically
Yes,
a weirdo.
gosh dang,
That's
I was trying to
disgusting.
get to that, Meso. The first competitive online multiplayer game that I played was Call of Duty Modern Warfare on the Wii.
You're a weirdo.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
weird. But I
you're
think we're all kind of
really
weird because to me, it's actually really weird that all of us, while being so old and growing up with video games, took so long to actually play multiplayer.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Well, online
I mean,
multiplayer was just like, it was
I
terrible to
played
get into.
multiplayer with like cousins whenever they come
Right,
over. We'll do
exactly.
local.
Well, see,
always
local is
local.
completely different.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I never really had the local experience because like there was such a big age gap between me and my brother, so we never really played video games. He was young enough to where I could just be like, oh yeah, here's another controller. You're totally controlling that other character right there.
I never had an
And, like,
online
he wouldn't realize it.
I never had an online capable console until the Wii, and the Wii's online infrastructure was terrible, so I never played anything
Yeah,
on it.
I mean, if
I
you
didn't
want to
get
be
my computer until
completely-
2007, so yeah.
if you want to be technically correct, I did play multiplayer before then. And by did, I mean I tried to play Super Smash Bros. Brawl online and immediately gave up because it sucked.
Same here.
It sucked so badly.
And now look at
But yeah,
look at where we're
it
at
was
nowadays.
unplayable.
Not only has online multiplayer advanced to such a point where it works pretty much, not flawlessly, but it's pretty stable with today's internet infrastructure, but we were able to do a 4-player co-op run-through of the Halo 5 campaign with no
Yeah.
lag and no latency and
Honestly,
no, like,
that is the
activity.
biggest achievement Halo 5 has brought to the table so far. 'Cause,
Right.
man, co-op anything in Halo 4 was trash. It was
Yeah,
absolute
no, and then in
garbage.
Halo 5,
Horrible.
was it the first, was it the second mission actually? Var drops out of the party, but we didn't even notice. Like, we just kept
it
playing.
was so
and then,
seamless because the campaign mission didn't end. You guys were able to just keep playing without any kind of interruption at all. And I was able to just jump right back into the game with no interruption. It was so fast, too. It's like I was out, like my internet went out for like a second. I was like, crap, this is going to take forever to rejoin them. Nope. Click start. I was right back in.
Yeah, and as recent as Halo 2 and the Master Chief Collection, whenever Eljay and I tried to play Halo 2, if one of us got disconnected, the mission would end, and we would have to restart because there were no checkpoints.
God, Halo 2 was absolute trash when we tried to play it. We would get blue screen constantly. Just the game would just be interrupted by the stupid error messages constantly. Constantly.
Yeah.
So Halo 5,
it was impossible to play that
they
game.
actually
More
have dedicated
things change,
servers
the more
that
they
work.
stay the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. Anyway,
Yeah.
I mean,
Campaign.
Campaign.
yeah. All right, let's first get this out of the way. We are going to talk about spoilers. So if you haven't played the Halo 5 campaign, and you
Get
don't
outta
want to
here.
be spoiled,
Bail
yeah,
out.
this is not the episode
This
for
is
you.
this is the time to bail
Here's
out.
a quick primer. It was kind of short, but kind of fun. There will be disagreements, and there will be arguments.
There will be disagreements. I liked it. LJ liked it.
I liked it.
Meso, you're kind of in the middle. Everyone else
I loved
didn't
it.
like it.
But, yeah, I can understand.
Oh, wow,
some flaw.
okay.
Never mind.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
right,
so
there you go.
spoilers. There's your warning.
Let's go.
Cortana's alive.
Yeah.
Wow. I was expecting you to at least give like a couple seconds before we went straight into the major spoiler.
Well, no, okay, let's be fair though. The game never treats that like that's the
no,
spoiler.
it never does. It's
Immediately,
established
it's like-
from like the very beginning.
Yeah, the immediate beginning, they're like, oh yeah, of course Cortana's alive.
course,
What?
you really
And he's
think
talking
you're
to Master
really
Chief,
you
of
stupid
course.
idiot.
So
Who
yeah,
bought
it's
into
like
our-
after the second mission, guys. So Cortana's alive.
The weird thing is, it sets it up like it's meant to be like a red herring, like, that's just a fake out. Cortana's not actually alive. But then it's not fake out. They just keep going with it. It feels like it's supposed to be a fake out.
Yeah, and it's like this whole time we get into the game. The game starts off, you're playing as Osiris. It's like, no, forget everything else. Let's introduce these guys. You get in, you save Halsey.
They get
and it's
thrown
like,
into
it
this
took you guys
crazy
long enough.
Promethean gauntlet with no explanation.
Oh yeah, the Prometheans are back.
Oh yeah, that's the first thing that has like no good transition in the game.
Although
So-
to that degree, I guess we do have an explanation why they're around now. Kinda.
So, I guess, but no one really questions it in the campaign. They're just like, hey,
Yeah.
look, Prometheans, shoot at them.
Well, no, they mentioned that Prometheans have been attacking outside of Requiem, though. They mentioned that they've started appearing randomly.
Yeah.
Which
Oh, I don't
is
even remember
kind of
that.
unusual since the Didact is like
Right.
indisposed.
Right.
No,
but I mean,
Didact
that's
is
part of the
dead.
campaign. That was part of the mystery. Like, that no one knows where the Prometheans are actually coming from or why they're still attacking. That
I
was,
don't remember that,
that
being
was part
a
of the
concern
campaign.
in the first mission.
It wasn't
first
a
mission,
big
I just
deal.
remember
I
us
can,
running through that, killing everything. Oh, look, Prometheans, let's kill them too.
I mean, yeah,
I
it
can
wasn't a
understand
big
how you missed
deal,
it.
but
It was just
they were
one
definitely
line
having that.
dialogue.
They were definitely having that discussion, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like, man, I don't know where these guys are. Because keep in mind that we're also jumping into this, like, kind of in the middle of the conflict, too. It's like, we
Which is
didn't
kinda
really start
dumb.
at the very beginning. So, but no, yeah, they established that they didn't really know what was going on with the Prometheans. And that was kind of that was part of the story when Cortana was revealed to be, like, controlling them. Because that was actually kind of part of the mystery.
Yeah, that was already kind of a red flag for me. The fact that you're kind of thrown into what seemed to be the middle of a story rather than an actual beginning.
I appreciate that, actually.
I don't-
I'm one of the ones who likes getting right into the action. You don't need a whole lot of backstory. Because for me, it just is like, okay, they're on a mission, get Halsey back. Now, here's what you really need to know to get into this. If you read none of the comics, none of the books, Spartan Ops will do you a fine job. It shows how
It'll do
Halsey
you a
got
fine
captured.
job preparing for the first mission.
Spartan
Yes,
Ops.
yeah.
But the second
Yeah.
mission is just kind of like, oh, look, Master
Yeah,
Chief.
the
hey,
second-
Spartan
nice
Ops
to see
is
Master
weird
Chief is
because-
back. Oh, look, Blue Team. What the heck?
Spartan
Blue
Ops
Team,
had
you're
this whole
here?
story with like a team of people in Requiem, and there was Halsey and this Covenant leader, Julim Dama. There was this whole mystery about a Forerunner device. Eljay, you know more about this than I do. It was called the Janus Key, and wasn't it supposed to be like
Yeah,
a map
so
towards
stupid.
Forerunner?
So
Wasn't it
stupid.
supposed to be
Why
like
is
a
it called the
map towards
Janus Key?
Forerunner technology or whatever?
It was supposed to be a very important thing. I'm gonna
And
go
it got
bring the
wrapped up in
wiki
like a comic, and they disregard it completely. They never even mention it once.
I don't think it's even done yet. I don't think they finished that storyline.
Whatever.
Because-
I don't even
because
care
the
about
series,
that
it's like
so
it's
much.
Halo Escalation, and that's gonna finish like next month, I think.
Yeah, so they just launch you right into the action, and I in a sense, I thought that was good because I'm like Eljay, you know, it's a new team of people, I didn't really need to be introduced to them right away. I figured we'd learn about them as we played. I don't like that they just launch you right in, disregarding the events of the prior game in the series that you played, Spartan Up, and not even acknowledge or explain any backstory.
Now I understand. The Janus Key is an artifact that provides a real-time location of every piece of Forerunner tech in the galaxy.
Including the domain?
I would assume... Well, no, that's not Forerunner, is it?
I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's Precursor.
But, no, that's not so much my problem. What I was getting at was that blue team is thrown into the second mission right away. Where did they come from?
Where did they come from?
Like I was getting at earlier, like, oh, cool,
no
Master
freaking
Chief's
idea.
back. Hey, blue team's here.
Who are they?
All right, then. Yeah, exactly. To casuals, blue team is completely unknown. Like, blue team, they were introduced in the novels, Fall of Reach, actually. Right. And they were presented in that novel as, like, the kids that grew up alongside Master Chief when they were all on Reach, becoming Spartans and going through that whole program. But they're not really properly introduced in this game. They're just kind of there. They're like, all right, Chief, where are we going next? We're going here. Got to kill some peeps. All right, cool. That's it. You go and you have this really cool cutscene, and then you just start playing, and that's it.
I've been doing a little
Cortana
research
comes out of nowhere
to prepare for this TTV Talks. I was watching a couple Halo 5 Let's Plays of like the first 2 missions because I wanted to gauge the average Joe's reaction to blue team. And in general, the reaction is pretty much confusion, followed by, I guess Chief has a team now.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
I guess they gave him a team to lead.
This is, there's no introduction for them. There's no, like, build up for, they're just there. They're just there, thrown into the story so that we can get it moving along. Oh yeah, Cortana's back. We gotta focus on that.
It's like just so you can have that 4-player co-op thing.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that's the reason. I wouldn't say that's the reason at all, because Halo 4, the prior game, you just play as like 4 chiefs. And duplicates of the main character.
The biggest promotion about Halo 5's campaign was the co-op, though.
Yes. They did it for Osiris, and Osiris was clearly the main thing. They couldn't just have Master Chief's co-op be a
Osiris is the main characters of his game.
Yeah,
I feel like Osiris is essentially they're the main characters.
It's Master Chief's story, but Osiris is the main characters in that story.
Osiris is like a different perspective of the story, which I don't mind. I think that's a really cool take on it. I just don't think that this story was introduced properly.
I guess, feel like, but I don't know. I don't feel like it was really necessary or important to dwell on that details because it wasn't really that like pertinent to the actual plot.
I don't think.
I just don't like how they're just kind of like expecting you. They're expecting you to accept that, okay, Master Chief's back, plus he has a team. Now let's move on to this story about Cortana, which is going to take place over the entirety of the campaign. Literally, they never dropped the Cortana thing throughout the campaign until they go to Sanghelios for a bit.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, that was the main story.
Plot,
yes.
Yeah.
That was the plot.
The plot. They can't really drop that.
Yeah.
No, but it's like
that was
there's
the main
no build up to it. There's nothing. It's just Cortana's back.
I would argue that the build-up was that no one knows if Cortana is actually back or not, or what actually happened to her. And that's the whole point of the story, was to figure out what's going on.
Totally. When we were playing, there was that overarching mystery of, is this really Cortana? Is Cortana being honest? Is she being manipulated? What are her goals?
Yeah, and there was even some of, like, they were even playing on the fact that maybe Master Chief is just kind of going crazy and imagining things, too, because there was a brief scene where he was, like
which
seeing
was never
the Guardian
explored again.
No, it wasn't.
Well, I mean, I guess, but I feel like that's kind of what they were trying to.
Blue Team doesn't seem to really give a dang if he
they don't
is
but
going crazy.
They were playing on the angle that Master Chief was kind of crazy because of that one scene where the Guardian shows up and Cortana's there, and then suddenly they're back in a room that he was never in. And then I feel like they were still trying to play on that through Osiris, because the entire time we're still chasing down Chief and he's still ignoring orders and behaving like radically. And I think we're supposed to believe that he's going nuts. And I think that's what they were trying to do as far as the advertisement campaign was concerned as well.
It's just the pacing of the game that's getting me a little confused when I think about it. Because
you're not necessarily wrong, because I also do agree that they didn't do it properly, but I don't think they necessarily didn't do it at all. They were trying to. It just wasn't conveyed properly.
Okay, I can get behind that. I felt I have like issues with the pacing of the game, and also, I mean, now that you brought it up, the advertising was, I felt,
The advertising was stupid.
The advertising is
advertising
probably
really
the
dumb.
biggest thing we'll be talking about.
That's the biggest thing I don't
here.
like about this campaign. Yeah.
See, I actually don't dislike it. It's not a good thing that they misled everyone and let a lot of people down, because a lot of people were really looking forward to that whole angle where Chief might be a traitor.
Yeah, I thought
But-
this was going to be like the coolest Halo campaign yet. It was going to take the
Yeah.
most original
Right.
angle
Like
because of that ad campaign.
espionage.
Yeah, exactly. Tactical espionage, government conspiracy, all these things.
Yeah.
and
all
Hunt,
these
Hunt the
mysteries.
Truth.
Hunt the truth, man.
Hunt the
Yeah,
truth.
it
Yeah,
ended
what was
up
the
just
truth?
being hate.
What was the truth?
There was no truth.
Technically, the truth was that
was
Cortana was evil. I think that was
Cortana's
the truth.
back, which is established in like the first 3 missions.
Cortana's back,
Yeah.
and then like Chief and Locke have one fist fight, and Locke smashes his helmet, and Chief is like, Cortana's not evil. And then like 5 missions later, he's like, Cortana's evil.
Okay, Chief never did say that Cortana was not evil. But real fast, I want to get back to Hunt the Truth.
No, but he did display some doubt.
I
like,
mean,
He displayed
She's
some
my
doubt, but I think it was
responsibility.
just he wanted to see it for himself. He just
Yeah.
needed to confirm
Yeah.
that she
Can
was
agree with
actually
that.
dangerous before he went like ape crap.
I
on
mean,
her.
granted, he did actively tell Locke, I know she's dangerous.
Yeah, that's the
did
5
say
missions
those
later
words.
thing.
But no, with Hunt the Truth, here's one thing that did kind of disappoint me and is really wrong. Because in Hunt the Truth, they built up the fact that Chief was a traitor because he was part of a rescue mission
Right.
between human and Sangheli relations.
Right.
And he rescued like some ambassadors, and one of them died, and it's like, fudge. And now he's getting blamed for that. That never appears, is mentioned in the
Yeah, it's
game
never mentioned.
ever at
Basically,
all.
everything that's built up to Halo 5 up until now is irrelevant in the campaign.
Absolutely irrelevant. There is nothing you can gain from any of the promotional material.
Yeah.
Right. The promotion material
well,
does nothing
on
to
the scope of things.
Maybe it was just like maybe that's why they had already sent out someone else to go after Cortana instead, because Chief was his play through that was kind of unknown.
But see, it's the same thing as the Bionicle books. You have to stretch that. That's not shown in the campaign. That's not shown anywhere.
I mean, to be fair, Chief was exonerated at the end of Hunt the Truth because Ben Giro got thrown under the bus in his
Heck
stead.
yeah, Ben.
So that plot thread was neatly wrapped up with a nice little bow. I didn't think that it was ever gonna come back in Halo 5.
no, I just
But,
I
wish it
thought
had
that
some
like,
advertisement-
kind of relevance.
The advertisement made it seem like that was going to be the Halo 5 story.
On the
though,
side, there's
Yeah.
different levels
and
to this.
Master Chief like sitting under his statue.
There were
and
yeah,
Locke's
there were
like,
three
"Was it
there were
worth
three
it?
big
Everything
things
you've
to
done."
Halo 5's advertising. 3 big problems: the initial trailer, Hunt the Truth, and the Locke versus Chief trailers.
Oh yeah, the initial trailer that has nothing to
The
do
initial
with it.
Master
trailer of
Chief was recorded
wandering
dead
through
today.
the desert
What?
with a poncho.
Okay, come on. Now that's not fair. That trailer wasn't anything. That was literally just a trailer
yeah,
for Halo.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
That
I'm
was
saying
yeah,
out of all
that-
three
I-
of
I'll
them-
give you that.
out of all 3 of them,
We
I can
should
forgive
not
that one
judge
because
that.
that was like years ago. The game was still in concept. It wasn't even
That-
for
yeah,
Halo
that wasn't
5.
even
No, it was to say that Halo's coming out for
Right.
the Xbox. That's what
that's
supposed
all
to
it
show.
was. It wasn't even for a game.
Yeah.
I mean, there was
yeah,
a
yeah.
Guardian in the
Okay,
game, and he was
calm
holding
down.
Cortana's
I mean,
data
yeah,
chip.
sure.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that was
and
100%.
Guardian
Master
in
Chief
this
was
game,
also
too.
in the game.
That was 100%
Or
for
in the
Halo
trailer.
5 because he had his cracked visor after Locke punched him.
You know,
No,
I'm not, I'm not
Those were
saying-
just concepts and ideas thrown into a trailer.
Right.
And they used that to work for a game.
I mean,
They were like, you know what would be, yeah, they were like, you know what would be cool if we put a crack on Master Chief's helmet and put him on a cloak.
I
and have a
brought
giant
that up
Promethean
because I
machine.
was saying out of all of the misleading advertising, that one's the most forgivable for all the reasons you're saying. Like I'm not attacking
enough.
that trailer. I'm
It's
just
not
saying that
misleading. That wasn't a trailer for Halo 5.
Still misleading.
yeah,
It is
was
still
just
misleading.
saying,
Whether
look,
it's a trailer
you-
for Halo 5 or not, it's very clear in hindsight that that was related to Halo 5.
No, it wasn't.
It
Halo 5
totally
was
was.
derived from that. That doesn't mean the trailer was for Halo 5.
I don't know.
I don't know about
all right,
that.
no, listen. I'll give you the. I don't know if it's for Halo 5 specifically. You're
It's
right. I don't
not.
know if
It was
says at
for
the beginning.
Halo on Xbox One.
There's
Which
two.
that's what it was
became
for.
Halo
There's
5.
two Halos on Xbox One. One is the Master Chief Collection, and one is Halo 5. So
Yeah,
which
and one
it
is going to be
for?
Halo 6. The whole point was that was for more Halo games. We got Halo Wars 2, Halo Spartan Assault, and the other Spartan Assault sequel. There's other Halo games. That was just to advertise the fact that Halo is still a thing.
Yeah, mostly Halo 5.
It's like
Well, yeah, because that's the next main title.
that one's.
I mean,
that one's
I guess
whatever.
here's the thing.
What I'm saying is
we can better like argue this as soon as we see some more stuff for Halo 6, because if it has Guardians in it,
I'm sure it will.
You're like,
It will.
maybe.
We'll see.
No,
But anyway,
it will.
The Guardians
Dude,
are Cortana's
the ideas
police
for Halo
force in
5
the
are derived
galaxy.
from that trailer. Those were just literal concepts they threw out there. Like, let's make a cool trailer. What direction do we want to take Halo in the future?
I'm siding with VAR because at the end of this trailer, I rewatched it just now. At the end of the trailer, it does not say Halo 5. It just says Halo.
That's what I'm saying.
Your journey begins on Xbox One.
It was a teaser for Halo.
I can throw a monkey wrench into all this by saying...
It
Pretty
says
sure Halo on
2014.
Xbox One was just a
I
working
can throw a
title
monkey
for
wrench
Halo
into
5.
It says
all
2014,
this.
not
The
2015.
people that made the trailer, the CGI group, posted it on Vimeo, an alternate version of the trailer. I can dig up a link to this that had Halo 5 at the end. It was edited out and replaced for the Microsoft press conference.
Which
The original
does
version
leave
of the
some
trailer was
credence.
for Halo 5.
Yeah. And
I mean-
I'm going to restate this because I'm pretty sure this was established before. Halo on Xbox One was a working title for Halo 5 Guardians.
Yes.
But
with all that being said,
I don't know why they would
disagree.
need a working title for Halo 5.
Because, I don't know,
disagree.
man, because they probably didn't decide
It's
on
pretty
adding Guardians
obvious
at
the
end.
next game is Halo 5.
Yeah, but the Guardians part is probably where that... I mean, that sounds stupid, but that's probably what made the big difference. It's like, do we want to add to the subtitle? Because when you're naming something, going through all that licensing and crap, there's a lot that has to go into that. There's a lot of precise things. Like, what exactly...
What it
is
was
that
is
gonna
I
be
bet
called?
you I bet you what it was that they were planning on making a Halo spin-off game starring Team Osiris
Right. That's what I was.
and the Guardians, and weren't sure if that was actually going to be a main title or not.
That's a good point. I believe
I was
that.
gonna say.
I don't
I
know,
said
but
beforehand
anyway.
that like the Halo 5 feels more like ODST in a way. Like it's a separate story starring these other characters.
Yeah.
And Buck is back, and all these
It
other
does.
fan favorites
and
are back.
and it does kind of tie into Spartan Ups too. It probably was. It was going to be like Halo 4 Guardians.
I'd buy
Right.
that theory. I'd subscribe to that. And then they interjected Master Chief
Very
into it
interesting
because they
theory,
said we can
but,
weave this into the main story if we throw Chief in there. So he has 3 missions. There's everyone else has
See,
12.
yeah, that's my main. I was talking before, like when I first finished the campaign, I finished it last week. I finished it after you guys did. The main problem I have with Blue Team, Osiris, and like that whole Chief and Locke, them doing the 2 separate things, is that the story doesn't benefit by seeing these 2 different sides. For me, I felt that Halo 2 benefited from this because you get what you assume to be generic alien villains in Halo 1. In Halo 2, you're introduced to them, their culture,
you actually get some
their religion.
insight as
You get
to
some
what-
insight to
what's going
why
on
they're all
in
doing
the
this.
Covenant, but that
Right.
doesn't really happen during Locke's story. It's just the entire time he's like, okay, we gotta look for Chief, we gotta find him,
He never has
I
a personality.
guess
we
maybe.
gotta help him.
I guess, but I mean, like we do get more insight on like the Spartan 4s. I suppose like it might not be as much or as big.
Okay, you know what?
it's there.
I'll give
I
you
got more
that.
insight
But
on the
I
Arbiter
guess.
than the
did
company.
the story really benefit? Did Halo 5 story really benefit from splitting it in 2?
No.
Was the story really could the story not be told without Master Chief's part or
To
without
be
Locke's
fair,
part?
Yeah,
story-
honestly, they should have just cut Master Chief out entirely.
That's what
Honestly,
I
they
The
think.
story
should
that the story
They,
that they
could have
wrote
cut
on
out
paper,
either one of them entirely, honestly.
No, I think the plot was definitely necessary to have.
Well, okay,
the
The story
side.
that they
Remember,
wrote on
I
paper
disagree.
could not be told without the 2 sides. They would have to rework it slightly.
All I'm saying, I'm not saying that you take the missions and just cut them out of the game. I'm saying that you just rewrite all the stuff that happens with Locke's team and just rewrite it a little bit to be Chief. Does that change anything? You can't do that with Halo 2, with Arbiter. You can't rewrite Arbiter's thing to just be from the Chief's perspective.
You
It doesn't work like
can't
that.
really
it needs to be Arbiter.
rewrite it. I wouldn't think. You would have to change the basic fundamentals of the game because it's that Cortana wants Chief to come there. If she didn't want him to come there, then you would have to write a whole game of Master Chief trying to get to her by any means necessary.
I mean,
Well,
I mean, the whole
that's
point is
kind of
also
it.
that Master Chief has gone rogue too. That was the whole idea of Osiris.
Right, but
it
just
seems like
take
they
that
had 2
concept
different
out.
games that they tried to combine here. They had 2 stories. One,
Right.
Cortana is evil. One, Master Chief is evil.
Right.
But then
Those
the
are the two
Master
stories
Chief
we were
being
given.
evil thing is never really acknowledged. Just like, oh, Chief
Never.
is off doing his thing. Can
Well,
you guys
no,
bring him
that's
back?
because Master Chief was never actually evil. It was just like the idea of him going rogue. That was the main story point.
They never
But
even really.
you're right.
Did they
It
even
wasn't
call
really.
him rogue in the campaign? They just said he goes AWOL.
They say AWOL.
Yeah, it's AWOL.
Yeah,
is
he's
the wording
They
use.
He's
never
essentially
once
rogue,
implied
which-
that he's like gone rogue. He's against the UNSC or whatever. The only time that's ever
Right.
kind of implied is when he fights Locke.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of what I'm
just
saying.
like
that-
some light resistance, but then they don't even stop there. They're like, "Oh, we got to get him."
Well,
They don't even try.
I
to,
agree
like,
with you. That's
hurt
what
him.
I'm. That's what I'm kind of saying. It's like they had these two ideas, and they just decided to merge it into one game instead of two.
Yeah.
Right.
And that may
I
explain
mean,
why
these
the
two,
result
like-
does not necessarily feel fleshed out fully in either of those aspects, because it's more like they tried to do both at once to the best of their ability.
They
And, didn't really
again,
work
it feels like Halo 4 Guardians, and then maybe like
Halo
a demo
5.
for Halo 5
Yeah, that's
with Master
it.
Chiefs. Yeah,
That's
That-
it.
the thi-
Honestly, that's exactly what it feels like. It was like an ODST. It was Halo 4 Guardians and then Halo 5 mixed together.
Real fast.
The teaser trailer that weren't we supposed to get a season 2 of Spartan Ops?
Initially, yeah, they said it was a
Yeah.
possibility, and then they canceled it because people weren't that crazy on Spartan Ops.
I have to wonder if like the ideas behind Spartan Ops season 2 was then transferred to Halo 5.
Certainly possible.
That's a very interesting thought.
that makes a lot of sense because going through like rescuing Halsey and doing all the stuff with the Sangheli,
Yeah,
Yeah.
That
would be a
sounds like
natural
stuff that would
resolution
be
to
in
Halo in Spartan Ops.
Spartan
Yeah,
Ops.
I
Yeah.
believe it. Because fun fact, an interesting thing that may support this is one of the main characters of Spartan Ops, not that you play as, but the guy in the cinematics, Spartan Gabriel Thorne, I think his name is. He was initially the fourth person on Team Osiris instead of Buck.
Oh wow.
Oh,
You
yeah, I
can see it
remember
in
that.
concept art, the art of Halo 5, and they took him out and replaced him with Buck for the actual game, so...
Good, because Thorne was kind of boring anyway.
was
He was
totally
kind of
boring.
he was kind of
Buck.
But
was
that definitely
fantastic.
supports the theory, though, that the Osiris missions and the concept behind Osiris was meant to be Spartan Ops
support
2.
the theory.
At the
That
very
makes a lot
least,
more
it was
sense.
supposed to have more connectivity. At the most, yeah, it was going to be just the same concept.
And yeah, I guess they just realized that they could just kind of interweave that into Halo 5. And that original teaser was what Halo 5 was originally going to be, following Chief's story.
right.
That makes a lot of
That
sense.
that makes way more sense.
We just cracked the code.
I mean, I don't think that there's any other way to look at that. Halo 5 should not be split into two parts. Not saying that it couldn't have been. They could have reworked the story to make two sides worth it. It's just not worth telling this story in two sides.
Yeah.
It feels like two completely different games instead of two sides of the same story. And again, I feel like Halo 2 is the best way to do that, or example I've seen of that in a Halo campaign. Other times games do that, like with Metal Gear Solid, right? They switched to Raiden halfway through. People didn't like that. But people, for the most part, I feel like Halo 2 is pretty well received in the campaign area. Not
Pretty
too many
well
people are like, oh, this... Okay, pretty well received. Sorry.
Accepted. Yeah, and Halo 5's campaign has gotten some mixed reviews. I know some people didn't like its pacing.
Fair. Yeah, it's... yeah, okay.
Yeah, the pace. No, I have a problem with the pacing, to be honest. They didn't like how just how the story was just told overall. My problem with it is that it doesn't really have that much. What is it? Substance, I guess. Kind of like compared to the other games, or there's like there was so much more than just the main plot. Like, oh, someone's going evil, we gotta stop him. Like Halo 3, there was a bit more to it than just, oh, there's the flood, we gotta stop him with the Halo ring or whatever.
Was
or
there?
Yeah, man, totally.
Like,
Especially
like
with
what?
Halo 2.
Okay, well, Halo 2, sure.
Halo 2 is a special
Halo
case.
3 is one of my least favorite campaigns because it doesn't feel like anything happens in it, and I just cursed. I'm gonna have to censor that. But but it doesn't feel like anything happens in it. It's just like the Chief falls on a planet, they go assassinate the dude, and then stop the flood, I guess.
Well, throughout the
And-
game, there's like there's a little bit of politics mixed in there. There's this whole thing with Cortana where it's like, oh, where is she? And we gotta find her. She's going crazy and whatnot. And we also get to see a little bit of how the elites are starting to work with the UNSC, and there's just more to it. And Halo 5 doesn't really have too much like that. I mean, I'll give it this. The Sanghelios portion of the game is probably my most favorite part of the game because it does have a little bit of that.
Sanghelios push. You see, those non-fire missions, as I understand it, they are very disliked. But I really enjoyed and appreciated
I like
those
them a lot,
sections.
too.
I
love
like
it.
those a
If I had to
lot.
change
Here's the
one
thing.
thing, I would say take out that third one that's in the same area. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that didn't need to be in the
it's a
exact
different
same map.
area.
That third,
It's a slightly different area. I think the
Yeah.
reason why people really dislike them is because they just run through them. They don't look around. They don't spend some time there like
and
we
they also
did.
count as missions too.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
one thing I don't like about them. Is
Yeah,
that they
that's-
count
that's
as
what I
missions.
didn't
They
like.
shouldn't count as missions.
Well, I mean, the thing is, a lot of people don't like them for counting as missions because they're not very long and not much happens in it. But like, if you play it a certain way, it's pretty long. Like, I think we spent more time on those areas than we did actual missions.
My
Well,
problem
it's because
is
you guys
is
wanted
they
to
didn't
get-
That's
tell
only
me,
because
but-
you guys are trying really hard to find all the data pads.
Right.
But that was
You
the
guys
You
point
did
of
that
them,
in
though.
you could
That
do
was the
that in
point of
any
them.
of the other missions too, and they would be a lot longer.
Yeah, but this one was specifically designed for you to walk around, discover, and listen to all the funny dialogue, catch up with all the characters, and just take some
Yeah,
time to
I
soak
know.
everything
Right,
in.
I
That
just
was the
don't
whole
think
point of
I
that.
don't think that
people
really
about
counts as a
that.
mission.
Like the
Yeah,
only
that's the
reason that
point.
I knew to
I'm not
do it was
denying
because
that's
I like
by
read it on
design.
a forum post. Like Kahi played the game and he didn't know what those missions were, so he just played through
Right.
it. He said, give me the objective, talk to Palmer. Okay, I'll
Yeah,
talk
there's
to
no,
Palmer.
there's no,
Right.
there's
Mission
no
over.
actual objective aside from like talking to people.
But
Like,
I love
sure,
the
you can
missions.
explore and
Right.
stuff, but that you could explore stuff in like Skyrim too. Is that the mission? No, but is that the
Well,
reason why you're playing? Probably.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah,
that's not the
I
mission.
mean, I would kind of is.
Well, Skyrim's a poor argument because the whole point of Skyrim is giving you this giant world to explore in.
Well,
you
yeah,
know
but
that from
that's
the
what
get-go.
those levels are for too. Those
Right,
levels
I'm-
are
I'm
there
saying that those
so
levels
that you
shouldn't-
explore.
Not that they shouldn't be an
But
FPS.
do they,
they
count
shouldn't
as
count as a
missions
mission.
or like
Yeah.
actual objectives? Something to really? No.
I appreciated that they were
objective
there to
is
break
to-
up the
I don't think so.
monotony, and I loved the missions for what they were. But I can't actually
Well,
understand people's.
They only break up the
Frustration.
monotony if you do that, like, if you know what they're for. For me, I remember, like, in Mission 14, there's a point there where it's like, Mission 14, and the reason why I paid attention to this is that me and my friends had a thing where we would switch in and out between missions. I had a whole group of friends, like 8, 9, 10 of us, and
Because there's
we
no
all,
split screen.
yeah, there's no split screen. So we had 2 Xboxes, and we just kept split, we were like teams of 5, and we would just go back and forth, sometimes in between missions, sometimes. And so Mission 14 comes up, and we switch. And the guy's, all right, so let's do this. And we go, and it says, go report to Palmer. You hit X. All right, she's like, all right, cool. And then it says, go report to Halsey. You hit X, and then mission 15. And the people who they switched out were like, wait, what? Do we have to switch? I was like, are you kidding me? They literally just went and pressed X twice, and that was it. Because
Yeah.
I don't
They didn't
disparage
communicate
them
it.
being in the game.
Sure,
I
but,
just
like-
don't think they're an actual mission. They shouldn't count as a mission.
I think the objective was to actually look around and explore, and I think that was pretty clear with the very first one. The whole point was literally to look around and listen to all the
Fair,
dialogue.
okay, all right. Listen, I'll give you
Like
that.
that was
because
like
you do have to
basically the
find
tutorial
stuff.
mission. It was like, this is what this mission is going to be. Look around, listen to dialogue, explore, have fun.
I guess like the main thing is that when Halo 5 is marketed, this says we're gonna have most people know it's gonna have 15 missions. It's probably it's 15 missions are gonna be there, and it's really 12 missions
Yeah.
with 3
Okay, well,
ever.
I don't mind them being
Maybe
counted
maybe
as
the
they had
better
been-
way maybe the better way to handle it was actually to have the campaign accessible through an in-game menu. And
Right.
those areas would count as like hubs. where you
Yeah,
could
Right,
access
yeah,
it.
that's
exactly.
exactly what those missions, quote unquote, feel like. They just feel like hubs.
Right,
Right.
They're like
I
the
think
game
I
world.
think it
For
would be
you to,
better
like,
if
relax
those
in.
if those weren't actual missions, but instead
Yes.
were hubs where you could access the missions.
I'm okay with that. 100%.
That would have
okay
been
with
cool.
I wouldn't
kinda
have
what I was
minded them
getting at.
being
It's like
counted
those-
as missions so long as they like explained better that it was supposed to be a big hunt.
Yeah,
for
those
stuff.
aren't missions. Those are really just points for you to relax. A mission
Right.
should put you into action.
Right,
Gotcha.
I like
yeah,
that
that
they
makes
existed,
more
though.
sense.
But yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That
But,
would have been the better idea.
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
else is
no,
there?
I gotta say though, I do have my gripes about the campaign, but overall, I did enjoy the twists.
Yes.
I really like that Cortana is
Cortana
going to be the
twist.
villain now. Some people complain that seems a little, unoriginal. The whole evil AI sort of thing.
The AI rebellion has been done to death, but I think it works
Yeah,
for Halo.
no, I
Okay,
could totally
this
see it
works.
from that
This works
perspective,
because Cortana is an established AI character that's been on your side for, if you've
Right.
been playing Halo for a decade, almost over like a decade and a half.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
exactly.
works because
I
of
can
who
see where
the
these
AI
people
is.
come
Right.
from, but you gotta give Halo this. It successfully gives some point to this.
Yeah,
Right.
the thing about the AI rebellion thing that's been done to death is that we've never cared about the AI. They've always
Yeah.
just
Right.
been this robotic presence that suddenly turns
There's
into
like
humanity.
a reason.
This
to
is
care
actually
about
a character.
this.
If Ronald was the evil AI, then I'd be like, all right, this has been done to death. I don't want to see this.
Wait, Ronald. Oh, you mean Roland?
Roland, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got that mixed up. in my head.
Ronald.
Ronald McDonald.
Yeah, exactly.
Happy Meal?
I don't remember his name because I don't really care about him.
And I mean, it's like, and also like the whole deterioration of AI thing, that's been an established part of the story
Right.
from the
Yeah,
beginning.
rampancy
Right.
and whatnot.
Rampancy has
Yeah.
been here forever.
That's another thing I'm seeing people dislike. They're like, oh, so we have this really big emotional thing with rampancy, and it was basically a whole game centered around it. And Cortana, she eventually died, because rampancy, was so sad and character building. And then, oh, well, I was on the Didact ship, and I fell through slip space, and I just fell randomly into this planet that cured me out of nowhere.
Right. Okay, yeah. That's
The water of
bogus.
life for AI.
The fountain of life.
Yeah.
Fountain of youth.
I gotta say,
the
that
Lazarus
part
pit.
was explained in like the most bootleg way. To
Yeah, they did not
running
do a good
around
job
in the
of
middle of
explaining
the
it at
mission
all.
of
That
Cortana's
wasn't, no.
explaining it all to you, like, oh, by the way, Chief, I'm here, and this was what happened, and you're like trying to shoot a bunch of AI.
Yeah, that wasn't explained very well.
Freaking-
They
Like
could have done
Prometheus.
that better.
I have to wonder if Exuberant's going to be the new Cortana.
Probably. She'll be Osiris's Cortana.
she was great.
I
cool.
really liked
Exuberance is
Exuberant.
pretty
She was
nice.
really funny.
Oh yeah,
Right.
she was cool.
Exuberance was pretty fun. I feel like
I didn't like how she was the Deus Ex Machina at the end, though. But hey,
okay, yeah. fair
Yeah, that's
enough.
true.
She,
She was
did
kind of a
like
Deus Ex
there was a point in beforehand where there was like at the end of Halo 4 where I felt they didn't predict or they didn't really know the end of Halo 5. They didn't really plan out Halo 5 by that point in time. Because that whole ending of Cortana could be easily just rewritten to lead into Halo 5.
Yeah.
She could have she like, oh, I can interface with the Didact. I can interface with the machine, but I probably won't survive the thing at the end. And that's how she goes instead of like falling through slip space and being something. She just like, like a Jarvis thing. She goes in and then realizes that she can hack her way out, and then she completely
I'll be
does it.
honest, I
One
forget
more
what
thing.
happened with the end of Halo 4. I think I need to go replay that game, because from
I
what I
forget,
remember,
too.
Chief detonated a
forget.
bomb in the middle of the Didact ship.
Right, wasn't there something? And she was
And
like,
blew it
"Oh,
up,
I'm
and
gonna
Cortana
say
like
goodbye."
formed
Yeah,
a
and
hard light bridge around him to protect him from the explosion. But I thought the Didact ship got destroyed, not that it fell through a slip space portal.
I think it was the debris that fell through the slip space portal,
Makes
and that's
But
still
how
what
freaking
Cortana
convenient
was.
is that? Oh, I just stumbled into immortality and godlike power. Whoops.
I don't know, man.
Freaking
but
slip
speaking of
space, you
dropping
never
the
know
ball
you're gonna
on-
come out.
Speaking of dropping the ball in this campaign, how about that very first cutscene with Halsey?
Very first.
Yep,
Cortana,
still
where
waiting
she's-
for an
where she's having a
explanation of that.
monologue about
Looking forward
like,
to next game,
yeah.
I want to know.
So, Locke, at some point they're gonna want to kill us both. Never built up after.
Right. Never,
After
Wow,
all my
never-
years
that's
with Oni,
never
I know
explained.
the truth. When this is over, they'll order you to kill us both.
Yeah. Like, when what's over?
Wait.
Like nothing
Kill us
happened.
both.
That-
Who does she mean kill us both? Does she mean
Wait,
her and
her and
Cortana?
Cortana?
Probably.
Maybe.
Or maybe she's like her and Locke. They're gonna
I thought
order you
it
to
sounded
kill
like
me
she
and then
meant
kill
her
yourself
and
afterwards.
Locke.
I mean, that wouldn't make any sense, though.
she's talking
She was
say,
talking
oh,
to
She
Locke.
means, she means her and Cortana because, like, from the
Yeah,
cutscene,
it doesn't
I was
make any-
expecting a campaign kind of like what I had hoped to get, where it was going to be about Oni and like them doing questionable things versus Chief. But in hindsight, I think it's probably just going to be something that happens in Halo 6. Like, when all this is over and we've stopped Cortana, they're going to expect you to kill her and also me, so I can't recreate
well, I guess
Cortana.
in that sort of
and because I'm a
context, that
liability.
makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
I'm hoping for a bit more Halsey and Cortana interaction
Actually,
going
maybe
forward.
it's the twist that's supposed to be the explanation for that. Because now that you're putting it that way, it's like the end of the game is supposed to tell you, "Oh, that's what she meant. She was
Yeah.
talking about her and Cortana."
What I find interesting about the Cortana twist, though, is that Cortana is only a representation of Halsey.
Right. That's what I was
That's
saying.
what I think is interesting, because if
I want to
Cortana
see
has
that.
the predisposition to turn evil and against humanity, I really have to wonder what's going on in Halsey's head.
That's
Well,
the
she
thing I
already
was saying.
kinda
Was like,
did.
I
Complex
want to
character.
see what's going on with Halsey.
Halsey's been the
The
type
God
of character.
complex, the whole
Yeah,
thing
because I think
going
there's a
on.
reason they brought her back into the story.
Right.
I think
Before,
it's
she didn't
matter at all.
supposed to be some sort of like foreshadowing, like Cortana's eventually going to become like Halsey, and not necessarily a monster. But the thing about Halsey is that she's always cared about like doing these scientific experiments and getting her theories out there in execution. You know, doing what she did to the kids and everything. She still cared about the Spartan 2s, but what she was doing to them was screwed up, man.
Yeah.
And what? She's a monster, basically.
But
And I
her
think that was-
intentions were... She had good intentions. She thought it was going to benefit
Which is
them,
exactly what's
humanity
happening
and
to
such.
Right.
Cortana. Right now.
Exactly. And
Halsey wants to
Cortana has
play
the
God,
exact
and
same
Cortana
thing.
can do the same thing. Yeah.
Cortana wants to play that sort of God role too because she thinks it's best for everybody, and she's willing to put down anyone that disagrees with her.
Right.
Well, there you go.
Overall,
We're cracking the code.
I think we need to go ahead and wrap up. So, like, overall, I think this game was really good for what it brought to the table. There's definitely some issues with it. It's not a perfect game, but I don't know. I still like the campaign a lot.
Still
I feel like it's
round
one of the better
table.
ones.
Brief
Yeah, I put a
thoughts.
lot of thought into it. I mean, I did voice a lot of my complaints in the episode, but obviously it's easier to point out some things that you don't like about something than it is to point out things that you like.
Right.
So overall, I can say that it's a really good campaign. I liked it. In the end, I enjoyed it. It was fun, etc. Sanghelios for the win.
Eljay, you should share some of your thoughts.
I really like the campaign. It's arguably one of my favorite Halo campaigns, especially after coming off the coattails of the other 4 Halos, because there's an armor you can unlock in the game called Helios
Oh,
Grill.
here we go.
And no, I'm not going to get too much into this, but Meso and I, as well as Ven through some portions, ran through the first 4 Halos, and so we got a little bit of a taste of what those are like running right into this. Mm-hmm. And it's very interesting to see the stark contrast. I really liked this game because there's a lot of character in Osiris, and
Disagree.
I really liked the legendary status of Blue Team. I understand objectively that it's really, really confusing. They don't do a good job of bringing new players into the game. So knowing the background really helped me. So I already understood. I didn't need to kind of stumble my way through. I already just walked on in.
Yeah.
So it didn't really affect me a whole lot. I enjoyed it. I had a really fun time playing it. I'm glad that they got the co-op to work without latency. I had a good time. I really liked the campaign.
Kahi, what's up with you?
My favorite part of this campaign was Hunt the Truth, the season 1. That was I listened to that and I was like, this is the most excited I've ever been about Halo's story. This is amazing. It's complex, and like the plot twist at the end, I was like, are you kidding me? I never see that coming. This is amazing. I can't wait to see what 343 has in store for Halo 5. They're putting this much effort into this story. Halo 5 has to have an amazing campaign. The Locke and Oni and Chief, and it's gonna be great. I played with the campaign and I was like, what? Really? You're gonna do this to me? It's okay. The main thing for this campaign is that the most excited I was in the entire campaign was the I didn't even play it. It's the legendary ending. When Cortana is singing and she's activating the halos, and I was like, oh my god, that's gonna happen. That's cool. And that's the most excited I felt through the entire campaign. It feels like it's just a big build up towards Halo 6. I don't kind of like that I spent basically 8 hours watching the Halo 6 prequel as opposed to the middle part of a trilogy.
Oh, yeah, that was one of my
Wow.
initial complaints about it too, was that the whole thing was just build up for Halo 6.
I kept waiting for the big deal to come where you fight Cortana and you can open it up for a sequel later, but it feels like it cuts off right at the part you want to play the campaign at. You want to play the campaign when Cortana is evil. That's what you want to do. This whole lead up to it is just a giant, like,
it starts out at the
drawn
middle of
out
a story,
waste of
and then it
time.
ends at the middle of a story. So
It
it's a
ends
little
at the
weird.
beginning of the story. That's where it ends. It ends at the beginning of the story you
It's
want
almost
to
like
play.
it should have ended before Cortana actually, like the cliffhanger should have been that Cortana is in fact alive and evil.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I
And
kind of agree.
ideally, it would be Halo 4 Guardians. It ends of, oh, Cortana's evil, and then Halo 5 is Chief doing
I'm
all
already
the Chief
seeing
stuff.
speculation that the reason for this subtitle is because Halo 5 is going to have 2 parts before Halo 6.
Oh,
But that's just
interesting. Okay.
speculation.
Oh, that's interesting.
that's interesting.
Oh, I've heard
I've-
about that.
I've-
I've heard about that theory.
I've heard they aren't going to do that.
Fair enough.
Oh, shut up.
But
Okay, whatever.
Who
I
told
don't know
you?
if
Your
that's
uncle
true or
that
not.
works
Hey,
at
listen,
Wait, are
343?
you confusing that with they're not going to do DLC?
I might actually, yes.
Yeah, because they're not going to do
They're
story
not just-
DLC,
my
but that doesn't mean they're not
God.
going to make a second Halo 5
LJ.
game.
Sources, man.
All right.
All right, well, we need to end.
Last
So
closing
Right.
thoughts. I want to say something. I'm the last person.
Okay.
hurry up.
Okay.
Hurry up.
So what I liked about the campaign, I liked the large level designs. I really liked the gameplay. Didn't really mention that all that much. I liked the Cortana twist. I liked the overall plot. It was pretty cool. I liked presentation values, production values. It was all good. What I didn't like, pretty much a lot of stuff some other people have said. A couple things of my own
Warden.
that I didn't like was, I liked how Osiris had, like, personality except for Locke. They all had their witty banter and their jokes.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of that's Nathan Fillion.
Some of the jokes were
A
like,
lot of it's kind of
Nathan
forced,
Fillion
but
was
they did
so
feel like
good.
characters to me, underdeveloped though they may be. When I played as Blue Team, they had basically no character at all. Blue Team felt really generic. It felt like they were Chiefs fanboy club, just following them around, not questioning anything at all or offering any of their own input. So that's probably one of the biggest things I didn't like was Blue Team. I felt like not only did they not have enough screen time where we're playing as them, but when they are on screen, their presence wasn't really felt.
They're just so flat.
They're very flat.
Also,
Another thing I didn't like,
Meh, they've always been flat.
yeah, that's also
Not
true.
really.
They were
That
never
doesn't justify
They really
them being
have
bad.
I
fun.
also
Not
didn't
really,
like
though.
how it seemed like they were
Dude,
setting Locke.
Chief didn't get a character until Halo 4. Are
That's
you kidding
true.
me?
Yep.
He's always been flat.
So true.
well, we're not talking about Chief.
But
We're talking about Blue Team, are we not?
the same thing is
Yeah,
kind of
but
true
I'm not-
for Locke.
that
They're
doesn't
all
mean-
Spartan 2s.
Yeah,
They
you're-
all went through the same thing. They all grew up at the same place. They all have the same character.
No, they don't.
They're all flat.
Go read a book. Anyway.
The last,
Screw you, dude.
the same thing is also
They're all
true.
flat.
The same thing is also true for Locke, which is the last thing I'll mention. It seemed like they were setting him up to have an interesting character, but they didn't follow through with it. Like this guy that looked up to Chief when he was younger and joined up with Oni and he did a bunch of questionable things and kind of lost his morality along the way. But then he went to go find Chief and he was upset that his idol from when he was younger is now turned evil, so he's gonna go find him to make things right. And in the end, he was just nothing. Whole lot of nothing. They hinted at
So
it,
flat.
never followed up on it. Kind of disappointing, but maybe in the future we'll get there. Basically, from a gameplay perspective, I loved it. From a story perspective, I'm half and half, but I'm looking forward to what Halo 6 will bring.
You mean the actual Halo
Yes,
5?
the actual Halo 5.
Oh, we should have gotten as Halo 5, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much all.
Halo 5 Part 2, basically.
And-
Oh yeah, how about that there, Warden?
Oh,
That was the worst part of the campaign.
I liked him
Yeah.
better than the
Not to bring it
Didact.
up.
He actually showed up, but it was really irritating having him yell about Cortana.
The only good part of the ward is that the first beginning where he's like, I serve Cortana, and you're like, what the? What?
I
and
am
then
the
that's
Back
it.
Warden.
like 5 more
eternal.
times. And he's
Yeah,
like,
then he
I
comes
serve
back.
Keep
Cortana.
up.
And you're like, okay, dude, I
And
got
like
it
the
the first
voice
time.
modulation is so bad you can't understand a single word he's saying without subtitles.
He's like Vayne.
Warden, the Warden, eternal.
But yeah, that's about that.
You were
That's,
born in the swept space. I was born in it.
that's one last note. Felt like I needed to bring up. Go ahead, Eljay.
Yeah, go ahead.
No,
and wrap us
no,
up.
no. That's fine. That's fine. All right,
Wrap
well,
us up.
yeah. So that about
Like a
sums up.
Christmas
This has been
present.
TTV Talks about Halo 5 Guardians. What do you guys think? Go ahead and continue the discussion either in the comments below or on the TTV Message Boards at board.ttvpodcast.com. If you'd like to support us and see the next episode of TTV Talks on Vessel, go ahead and check us out on Vessel at vessel.com/the TTV channel. Is it?
Yep, it won't be about Halo
Yes.
5, I promise. 2 weeks in a row.
So, and then we have Audible if you want a free audiobook trial, and the t-shirts at ttvpodcast.com/store.
Can you get Fall of Reach and
God.
Audible?
Oh my god. God.
You might be able to.
Check it out.
I would recommend it. I would
Learn
also
who Bluetooth
recommend
is.
watching
That
the
wasn't the
animated.
That wasn't the right URL at all.
I don't normally do the plugin.
Oh,
for
it's
Vessel.
audibletrial.com/TTV.
Yeah,
And store.ttvpodcast.com
exactly.
Guys.
/store.
Okay, so it's been TTV Talks. I'm Eljay.
I'm Meso.
I'm Bar.
I'm Kahi.
I'm Venom.
We'll see you all next time.
Halo 5
Halo
story
6.
gets a 5 out of 10. Fitting.
Hey, look, you can get Fall of Reach on audible.com.
Nice.
Ah!
Do you imagine Halo 6 is Buck versus Chief? I'd buy that. I'd buy that.
Okay.
Adios.